Welcome to Breaking the News Plus on this Friday night. We're going to have a conversation I don't want to have, but because of some guys doing some things at WNBA basketball games, we got to have this conversation. And no one better to have it with than Nancy Armour, USA Today, prolific, beloved sports columnist for many, many years. And Nancy, you took the bull by the horns and you decided, I'm going to write about the fact that some men are throwing sex toys onto the court at WNBA basketball games. Why'd you do it?
Well, it's been a topic of conversation, and like you, it's a conversation I hate that we're having to have, but it has become a thing. It has, this has happened in 5 different arenas now, which is, when you look at a 13-team league, that's more than a third of the league. So clearly this is not a one-off. This is not, some idiot doing something trying to be funny. This was obviously a coordinated effort. And my colleague Megan Hall spoke with the crypto bros who very gladly claimed credit for it, which that is a whole other conversation. But yeah.
Totally. And I admit my hot-headedness got the best of me last night, that I don't give a rat's butt about the crypto bros trying to take credit, because that's their whole thing. They're trying to get their name out there so they can do that on their own dime. Cheryl Reeve, the head coach and general manager of the Minnesota Lynx, took this into a different place last night, as did you. And both of you have been doing this on your platforms in terms of let's get this down to the brass tacks of it. It's not funny. None of the players think it's funny. None of the coaches think it's funny. And on top of that, it reaches a level of sexism and misogyny.
Yes.
Why do you think that? Why do you think that?
Well, first of all, let's look at the fact that this is not funny and just take it at a strictly workplace level issue. As somebody I spoke with yesterday said, imagine if I was in a meeting at work and somebody came in and threw a sex toy on the desk. That wouldn't be funny. That would actually be grounds for a violation of a harassment policy and would lead to all kinds of different issues. The court is the workplace for WNBA players, for any athlete. So we should not be looking at this as a joke. This is a violation. This is, sexual harassment. This is safety violation. If a player would slip on something like this and fall on the floor, it could lead to injuries. It could lead to a concussion, all of those things. So let's just put that out there, first of all. But there is a level of misogyny to this that is clear. You are talking about a sex toy, a phallic symbol, which has long been known to represent power, male dominance. And it's being thrown at WNBA games. This is a league that is obviously all women. It is predominantly queer women. It is predominantly women of color. The message that is being sent is not, haha, this is funny. It's, we still own you. You might make progress. You might be earning more eyeballs, attention, money than you have in years past, but we still control the narrative. That's what this is about. And discussions about anything else are just, they're playing into the hands of these, I could call them a lot of things, but I'll just say crypto bros.
It's you and me both. Yeah, because Nancy, you and I both know that Major League Baseball is playing right now, and it's not happening there.
Apparently, it did happen at one baseball game, and it did happen I think that they've left one at Wall Street, at the Bowl at Wall Street. But it hits different when it is done and done repeatedly at games involving a women's league. It's not, there is a level of animosity and harassment and, like I said, misogyny that is not part of the conversation, is not part of the equation when you are doing it at a baseball game or on Wall Street or wherever else these guys are. And if you listen to any of their social media streams that they've been doing, which unfortunately I listened to a bit of one of them, the discourse over the WNBA and its players is disgusting. I mean, it is vulgar, it's crude, it is, again, misogynistic, it's homophobic, it's, all of the things. So it is clear that this is not just a, haha, this is funny. There's a base hatred for women and for women in the WNBA in particular.
So when a journalist like you peels back their claim of, ha, 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 this is just to get publicity for our company. You peel back and listen to the conversations these crypto bros are having online that are taking credit, and you're saying on these conversations, they are not supportive of the WNBA or its players.
No. Some of them might claim to be, but then you've got other ones that are most definitely not.
What should the
I feel like I needed to scrub my brain after sitting in on one of them.
Oh, I do that on a daily basis. What should the WNBA do about this?
Well, it needs to do something, obviously, because, these guys are getting, and it is guys, these guys are getting through security, and they're doing it because, these are not metallic objects. They're latex, they're vinyl, they're, whatever. So they're not showing up necessarily on security cams or mag bags. But the league has to do something because, again, aside from the harassment aspect of this, which is disgusting enough, you are compromising the safety of these players, and you are violating the sanctity, the safety, whatever you want to call it, of their workspace. So it is incumbent upon the league to do something, and it shouldn't have taken this long, frankly. And it would be nice if the league would actually speak up and do something.
Right. For as long as women have tried to participate in basically anything, from voting to getting a credit card to sports, misogyny has played a role. Speaking just in terms of athletics, women were forbidden in many years ago because it would somehow alter our femininity and ability to carry children, or it would make us too aggressive. So this is along the same line of keep women down, and it's coming at a time when the WNBA is on the up.
Which that goes hand in hand. If you look back at anything in history, and I made this point in the column, anytime there's progress by women or any other marginalized group for that matter, there's a backlash. We're seeing it now in our greater society. As I said, I don't know that this country is ever going to recover from two women having the audacity of running for president. But you mentioned, women being banned from sports because of concerns about our reproductive systems. It was not there was not women's ski jumping in the Olympics until 2014, literally because one of the heads of the ski federation said he was concerned that people's uteruses would fall out.
Oh my God.
Really? Really? Yes. Soccer was women, professional or not even professional, organized soccer was banned for women in England for 50 years because there were concerns about the popularity of the women's game in the 1910s and 1920s. So again, anytime women make progress, and yeah, we're seeing it with the WNBA, there is a backlash, and we've got it right now.
Last question I have for you is that echo chamber in the Twitter sphere, wherever it's called. Elon kicked me off of it. These women just can't take a joke. Nancy can't take a joke. Cheryl can't take a joke. What do you say to that?
It's funny how there's not a better argument than that's all they can say is, oh, you can't take a joke. Okay. You try being a person of a marginalized community and have this happen and see how funny you think it is. And again, if that's the best you can do, if that's the best your argument is, that's not an argument.
For those of us in support of the league, these women, their athleticism, the game that they have taken to the mountaintop, what should we do?
Call it out. I think that's the most important thing is, I got an email last night from a guy who said he is not somebody you would think of would be in opposition to this. As he said, he's from a Western state. He's a pickup truck driving man in his mid-60s, hunts, carries a gun. And he's like, this is ridiculous. So we need people to speak up. We especially need people who are not among the most obvious WNBA fans. We need the men of the world to speak up and say, this is not okay. I was going to say another word, but, because this is not it. While it is right now a problem for the WNBA, this is a sign of a greater problem that we're having in society, that you have these men who are uncomfortable with their place in the world or don't like a changing world. And so they're striking out at women, whether it is, in this way or in other toxic ways, the AI slop that we see of, photos of women and videos of women. Anytime you see this, call it out. Say it's not okay. Let people know that this is not the atmosphere and the attitudes that we want people to have, and that we find that is acceptable. Because when these people are made to be outcast, or when these people are called out and are shown that their view is not the majority view, that's how you silence them.
Sorry, I do have one more. You got to go in 3 minutes, but I'm sure you saw this, and it's hard to silence when you see this. Donald Trump Jr.
Yes.
tweeted a meme of his father, the President of the United States, a meme of him standing on the White House throwing the same kind of sex toy at women playing basketball. Again, it's a meme, it's made up, but Donald Trump Jr. tweeted it in support and said, won't have to comment here, you can see it.
Yeah. Also, number one, it's funny how these great protectors of women and women's sports do stuff like this, number one. But this is the type of thing I'm talking about. When you see this being approved and being celebrated at the highest levels of our country, it's really disappointing. It's disgusting. It's enraging. And we have to get to a point where we're telling people like that, this is not okay. There's a whole other conversation to be had about whether this is just Don Jr. trying to pump up crypto to benefit him and his family. But again, that's another conversation to have. But we have to be better than this. We have to be. It's unacceptable, and we just have to be better.
Agree wholeheartedly. Nancy Armour, thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you for writing the column, and it's an important conversation we need to be having.
Thanks for having me.
Take care. That's all for us this Friday night on Breaking the News Plus.